On August 8, 2024, the calm of southwestern Japan was shattered by a sudden jolt. A 7.1 magnitude earthquake struck off the coast of Kyushu in what is now known as the Yuganada earthquake. Welcome to Fresh Vision TV, and today, we're not just bringing you the details of this seismic event, but we're also diving deep into what it means, how it compares to past earthquakes, and most importantly, what you need to do to stay safe when the Earth moves. The Yuganada earthquake was a stark reminder of Japan's geological reality. While the quake triggered a tsunami advisory, the waves that eventually reached shore were minor. But the fear it generated was far from insignificant. This quake has reignited concerns about the potential for an even larger event, especially considering its proximity to the notorious Nankai Trough, a region capable of producing some of the most powerful earthquakes in history. To understand the significance of the Yuganada earthquake, let's compare it with past seismic events. The 2011 Great East Japan earthquake, with its massive 9.0 magnitude, unleashed a devastating tsunami that caused the Fukushima disaster. While the Yuganada quake was less intense, its location near the Nankai Trough has raised alarms. Historically, this region has been the epicenter of catastrophic earthquakes, like those in 1946 and 1854. Each of these events was preceded by smaller quakes, just like the one we've seen recently. The Nankai Trough is a ticking time bomb. Experts suggest that the Yuganada earthquake could be a precursor to something far more significant. This region is known for producing megathrust earthquakes, events that can trigger massive tsunamis, affecting not just Japan, but the entire Pacific Rim. So, what can you do to protect yourself? Here's a quick guide to earthquake safety that could save your life. Drop, cover, and hold on. When the ground starts shaking, immediately drop to your hands and knees to prevent being knocked over. Take cover under sturdy furniture and hold on until the shaking stops. Stay indoors. If you're inside when the quake hits, stay inside. The risk of injury is higher if you try to run outside due to falling debris. Prepare an emergency kit. Your kit should include essential items like water, non-perishable food, a flashlight, batteries, first aid supplies, and necessary medications. Keep it somewhere easily accessible. Know your evacuation routes. Especially if you live near the coast, be aware of the fastest way to reach higher ground in case of a tsunami. Practice your route with your family. In the aftermath of the Yuganada earthquake, communities across Japan are once again reminded of the importance of preparedness. But it's not just about stocking up on supplies. It's about fostering a mindset of readiness and resilience. The real lesson from this event isn't just in the power of the quake, but in the power of being prepared. Earthquakes are unpredictable, but our response doesn't have to be. The Yuganada earthquake is a wake-up call, a reminder that nature's most powerful forces can strike at any time. Stay safe, stay prepared. Hailstorms, one of nature's most unpredictable and powerful displays. They arrive without warning, turning an ordinary day into a scene of destruction in a matter of minutes. Today, we're going to explore three of the most intense hailstorms of 2024. Storms that left entire communities reeling. How do these icy projectiles form, and what makes them so destructive? Stay with us, because we're about to uncover the science behind the storm and the stories of those who faced its wrath. First up, let's talk about the Colorado hailstorm of May 2024. Colorado is no stranger to hail, but this storm was something else. With hailstones as large as grapefruits, it left a trail of destruction across the state. Roofs were shredded, cars were totaled, and crops were completely wiped out. The estimated damage? A whopping $2 billion. But what causes these icy missiles to rain down in the first place? Hail forms when updrafts and thunderstorms carry raindrops into extremely cold areas of the atmosphere. These raindrops freeze, and as they're tossed around by the storm's updrafts, they accumulate layers of ice, growing larger and larger until they become too heavy to be supported by the updrafts and fall to the ground. The stronger the updraft, the bigger the hailstones. And when they hit the ground, the damage can be devastating. Next, we head over to Reutlingen, Germany, in August 2024. This storm produced some of the largest hailstones ever recorded in Europe, up to 5 inches in diameter. It's hard to imagine, but these massive chunks of ice tore through roofs, flattened crops, and even injured dozens of people caught outside. The sheer power of these storms reminds us just how unpredictable and terrifying nature can be. Here's a question for you. Have you ever experienced a hailstorm firsthand? What was the most shocking thing you saw? Drop your stories in the comments. I'd love to hear them. And finally, we can't forget about the Southern Plains hailstorm in June 2024, which struck the central United States. This storm was so intense that it brought traffic to a standstill on major highways. Imagine being stuck in your car with hailstones smashing against the windshield like a relentless barrage. The storm caused widespread power outages, extensive damage to homes, and left a long-lasting impact on the agricultural sector. But why are hailstorms becoming more frequent and severe? Some scientists believe that climate change is playing a role. Warmer temperatures can lead to more intense thunderstorms, which, as we learned, are the breeding grounds for hail. So, as our planet warms, we might be in for even more of these icy onslaughts. Hailstorms are a stark reminder of nature's raw power, and as we've seen, they can strike with little warning and cause immense damage. But with knowledge and preparation, we can protect ourselves and our communities. If you found this segment eye-opening, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more insights into the wild, unpredictable world we live in. And don't forget, share your hailstorm stories in the comments below. Have you ever wondered what it would feel like if the air around you turned into a blast furnace? Imagine living in a world where the sun doesn't just warm your skin, it scorches everything it touches. In 2024, this nightmare became a reality for millions across the globe, as two of the most intense heat waves ever recorded unleashed their fury. Today on Fresh Vision TV, we're stepping into the heart of these blazing events to uncover why our world is heating up so dramatically, and how it's turning everyday life into a struggle for survival. Trust me, what you're about to see will leave you questioning the future. We're talking about temperatures so high that everyday items are melting right before our eyes. In Spain and India, the mercury didn't just rise, it exploded. In southern Spain, the thermometer hit a staggering 46 Celsius, sound 115 degrees Celsius. But the heat wasn't just a number. It turned roads into frying pans and sidewalks into deadly hot plates. Check this out. Here's someone who decided to put it to the test by frying an egg on a car hood. That's not science fiction. It's a horrifying reality. And it's not just eggs. Look at this footage. Shoes melting, car tires bubbling, and even entire cars catching fire because they simply couldn't handle the heat. This is what happens when Mother Nature turns up the dial. But why is this happening? Let's break it down. Our climate is getting hotter and fast. Greenhouse gases, like carbon dioxide, trap heat in the Earth's atmosphere, turning our planet into a giant greenhouse. And as we continue to burn fossil fuels, clear forests, and pump more and more CO2 into the air, the planet heats up even more. It's a vicious cycle, and this summer we're feeling the full force of it. But it's not just about discomfort, it's about survival. These heat waves are taking lives, damaging crops, and causing billions in damages. In India, temperatures soared to 50 degrees, 122 degrees, in places like Rajasthan, pushing the human body and our infrastructure to the brink. Hospitals filled up with heat stroke victims while crops withered and died in the fields, leading to food shortages and skyrocketing prices. Yet, despite these warnings, our world continues to warm. The question is, what can we do about it? How can we protect ourselves and future generations from a planet that's turning against us? It's time to start asking the tough questions, and more importantly, finding the answers. So, how are you staying cool during this record-breaking summer? Have you experienced the extreme heat where you live? Drop your stories in the comments, and let's start a conversation about how we can beat the heat together. Remember, it's not just about surviving today's heat waves, but ensuring a safer, cooler tomorrow. There is a place on this earth that still retains the primordial essence of life, where herds roam freely as they did in ancient times. life flows on in this land that has been forgotten by time, serving as a final refuge for some of the largest wild herds remaining on the planet, the Serengeti Plains in southern Africa. The mountain ranges to the east once erupted violently, sending a sea of ash into the sky. Over the course of 4 million years, this fertile land was formed, covered with rich soil and expansive grasslands. Now, it is home to the largest wildlife reserve on Earth. In this vast and fertile plain, which is as picturesque as it is abundant, millions of animals of all kinds find their sanctuary. As temperatures rise and seasons change, 1.5 million robust wildebeest make a significant impact on the entire ecosystem around them. With their clumsy gait, they've earned the nickname the clowns of the African plains, and are often described as a blend between a cow and a horse. These hybrid wildebeest are granted by nature with a tireless migratory life, endlessly searching for grass and water. Alongside them is another herbivorous species that coexists, all benefiting from the abundant and diverse vegetation on the Serengeti Plains. On the plains, the natural order is clear. Herbivores eat plants, and carnivores hunt herbivores. Lion prides hunt with both strength and stealth, stalking their prey until one careless animal becomes the target. Though it's the lionesses that make the kill, the large, majestic male lion is the first to feast. The hungry others wait their turn, lining up until the lionesses can finally eat. The Great Migration has begun. This epic journey takes place across 2 East African nations, Tanzania and Kenya. The wildebeest herd migrates northward towards the Masai Mara Game Reserve in Kenya. There, they will roam for months until the rains return, prompting the herds to head back to the southern plains. The migration spans a treacherous journey of over 500 miles. The first few weeks of the migration coincide with the mating season, where the males engage in relentless battles. They fiercely compete for the females. During those few weeks of mating, 90% of the females are fertilized at the beginning of the migration northward. This period now becomes a strategic peak for the predators. On Christmas Island, Australia, one of the largest migrations in nature takes place. 65 million red crabs simultaneously travel 8 kilometers in just 5 days as the rainy season approaches and the tides rise. The red crabs begin to emerge from deep burrows in the rainforest, moving rhythmically towards the sea. However, their existence is under threat. Human activities have a significant impact, forcing the red crabs to cross areas without forest cover, putting them at risk of drying out. At the end of each year, during late winter, the Sami people herd thousands of reindeer from Norway to Finland in search of food and to escape the cold. The number of reindeer can reach up to 50,000, traveling around 70 kilometers each day over a span of 2 months, covering a total distance of approximately 5,000 kilometers. Salmon are among the animals with the most impressive migration journeys, sometimes covering distances of up to 3,800 kilometers. The life cycle of a salmon begins in freshwater rivers, where they are born. They then migrate to the ocean, living in saltwater for about 4 years. Afterward, they make the remarkable journey back to the very freshwater rivers where they were born, to spawn and lay their eggs. The monarch butterfly, also known as the king butterfly, is one of the most common butterflies in North America. Every August, billions of monarch butterflies, originating from North America, embark on a migration journey southward to California and Mexico. They then returned to Canada in the summer. Next, let's turn back the clock to March 11, 2011 in Tohoku, Japan, a day forever etched into the memories of the Japanese people and the world. It was a day when nature unleashed its fury, and the ocean turned into a nightmare known as the Tohoku tsunami. According to our information, at 2:46 p.m., a massive earthquake with a magnitude of 9.0 on the Richter scale, the strongest in Japan's history, shook the entire northeastern region. But that was only the beginning of an unprecedented chain of disasters. Did you know, in that very moment, the ground wasn't just shaking, it was signaling a catastrophe far greater: colossal tsunamis. Immediately after, waves as high as 40.5 meters, like towering walls of water, crashed onto the Tohoku coastline. Imagine being there, standing on a peaceful shore, and in the blink of an eye, the ocean rises to an unbelievable height, sweeping everything away before your eyes. Homes, cars, people. The world you knew changed completely in just a matter of seconds. The tsunamis were not just acts of nature's destruction. They were symbols of our powerlessness against the overwhelming force of the sea. In just a few short minutes, thousands of lives were swept away, millions lost their homes, and an entire region of Japan was reduced to rubble. The tsunami didn't just destroy homes and infrastructure, it claimed the lives of over 18,000 people. Thousands of families were shattered and tens of thousands were displaced. But the pain didn't stop there. On that dark night, Japan faced another nightmare: the Fukushima nuclear disaster. The nuclear power plant was severely damaged, and radioactive materials spread, threatening the health of millions. As we've discovered, thousands of children lost their parents, becoming orphans in an instant. Millions were left homeless, seeking refuge in temporary shelters. Imagine a highly developed industrial nation like Japan, brought to its knees by a single act of nature's fury, facing one of the greatest humanitarian crises in its history. At the Fukushima nuclear power plant near the coast, the tsunami completely disabled the cooling systems for the nuclear fuel rods, leading to a severe disaster and causing surrounding residential areas to be contaminated with radiation. Even 10 years later, many of these areas remain uninhabitable. According to the Daily Mail, based on the latest statistics, 15,899 people lost their lives, with 2,572 missing and presumed dead following the disaster. Initial reports estimated the casualties from the tsunami to be in the hundreds, with hundreds more missing. However, these numbers rose significantly in the days that followed as rescue operations were conducted.
2009.
Some communities were half destroyed or even entirely wiped out. The majority of those who perished were victims of the tsunami, with more than half of the victims being 65 years old or older. But amid the rubble and loss, we witnessed something truly admirable: the resilient spirit of humanity. The people of Japan did not bow to disaster. They stood together, rising above the pain, rebuilding their lives. Images of rescue teams working tirelessly to find survivors beneath the wreckage, and ordinary citizens helping one another in the face of adversity, deeply moved the hearts of people around the world. And now, I want to express my deepest gratitude to those who tirelessly worked, not only to save lives, but also to help Japan rise again after this disaster. What we witnessed in 2011 will never be forgotten, and the spirit of Tohoku will live on in the hearts of the Japanese people and the world forever. Thank you for joining us on this journey. Always remember, no matter how challenging the circumstances, hope and love will always be the guiding light that helps us overcome any obstacle. See you in the next video.